Chapter 21. Then there was a famine in the days of David 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of the Lord, and the Lord answered, It is for Saul, and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites. And the king called the Gibeonites, and said unto them, Now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn unto them, and Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, What shall I do for you, and wherewith shall I make the atonement, that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord? And the Gibeonites said unto him, We will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house, neither for us shalt thou kill any man in Israel. And he said, What ye shall say, that will I do for you. And they answered the king, The man that consumed us, and that devised against us, that we should be destroyed from remaining in any of the coasts of Israel, let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them. But the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the Lord's oath that was between them, between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. But the king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul, Armoni, and Mephibosheth, and the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, and the Meholathite, and he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them on the hill, in the hill before the Lord. And they fell all 7 together, and were put to death in the days of harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of the barley harvest. And Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, took sackcloth, and spread it for her upon the rock, from the beginning of harvest until water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor the beasts of the field by night. And it was told David what Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, the concubine of Saul, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son from the men of Jabesh Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hanged them, when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa. And he brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged. And the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zelah, in the sepulchre of Kish his father, and they performed all that the king commanded. And after that God was entreated for the land. Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel, and David went down, and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint. And Ishbi-benob, which was of the sons of the giant, the weight of whose spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight, he being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him, and smote the Philistine, and killed him. Then the men of David sware unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel. And it came to pass after this, that there was again a battle with the Philistines at Gob. Then Sibbechai, the Hushathite, slew Saph, which was of the sons of the giant. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jaareo-regem, the Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. And there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number, and he was also born to the giant. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan the son of Shemaiah, the brother of David, slew him. These 4 were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David, and by the hand of his servants. Here we have a series of events involving, at the last part of the chapter, the sons of Goliath, 4 of them, who basically go up with the Philistines to attack Israel in the battle, and they are killed. And one of them comes close to killing David. And they decide, the people decide, the army decides that David is not going to go out and lead them anymore. This guy's over 60 years old, which is really for hard hand-to-hand combat at 60 years old, especially with a guy who's a whole lot bigger than you are. And so David basically agrees he's not going to do it. And there are 3 tall guys, and then there's a guy with 6 toes and 6 fingers on every foot or hand has 6 of whatever's on there. And then we have at the very beginning, the reason I dealt with those 4 giants was because I want to get this part out of the way. Now I want to deal with one of the most disgusting and vile incidents, which that is so corrupt that those people who are the literalists about the Bible, who believe every single word is absolutely true and perfect, cannot explain, because it violates every rule that Heavenly Father has in place. In both Numbers and Deuteronomy, Heavenly Father specifically forbids that a child should be judged or killed for the sins of a parent. Just doesn't happen. On top of that, to sacrifice a child or anybody to try and get better crops or rain for your land is exactly the reason why the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, and all the other ites were to be killed, because that's exactly what they did. And Heavenly Father basically said the land was corrupted because of them. So the question is, what was David's involvement? Was this when he was mentally deteriorated and the message he got wasn't from the Lord, was from Satan, and he couldn't tell the difference? Was it that he had some advisor who was involved in Satan worship, and that's where he got his answer? Because it sure did not come from God. Period. End of story. Doesn't happen. Now, I've had, every once in a while, we get somebody who will point to Abraham and said, no, Abraham was told to sacrifice Isaac. He was told to take him and to sacrifice him. But before he did, an angel appeared and prevented it, and then Abraham learned why he was being asked to sacrifice his only son, who had been prophesied to be the source of his posterity. And it was basically a test to see if Abraham feared God, respected God, trusted God, had faith in God, that he would make that happen. Heavenly Father does not allow people, but does not tell unrighteous people to kill righteous people, to lift some kind of curse or make the weather better. Just does not happen. The Gibeonites were morally corrupt. Anybody that thinks, well, we'll take these 7 kids and we'll hang them, certainly isn't righteous. And then it says the mother of 5 of them. They got the mother wrong. It had to be Merab, because Michael didn't have 5 children. And Merab did, and her husband was Adriel, not Michael. And she guarded them while their bodies rotted, so that the birds of the air wouldn't land on them, and the fowls wouldn't come, or the animals wouldn't come and eat the flesh. And then they went and got Jonathan's bones and Saul's bones and the bones of all those 7, and they took them and buried them properly. This is a perfect example of why you need to understand how Heavenly Father thinks. Go back to previous chapters and find out what Heavenly Father says about this, and think about these things. That's why I can only comment on a few things in any given chapter, because there is so much that we know can't be the way it was described, because it's totally in violation of every covenant Heavenly Father has given to man, just like this would be.